All right, welcome back to the Hotspot, everybody. Our friends at the Breaking Wave Theater Company are proud to present Legends of Guahan, a podcast play series where local legends are brought to life through this auditory experience featuring local voices of all ages. Each episode highlights an iconic Guam legends and some very contemporary ones, adapted through different CHamoru playwrights. And joining us via Zoom are the producer of Breaking Wave, CJ Ochoko. Happy day, CJ. CJ's, by the way, she's in Nashville.
Happy day, yes. Hello from Nashville.
Well, first of all, CJ, did the Titans win today?
You know what? I'm the worst Nashvilleian or whatever they call it because I have no idea.
No problem at all. I should know this. I'm a big sports guy, but you've got really good barbecue out there. So as long as you're getting with the ribs, then you're totally cool.
Yeah. Still can't beat Guam, but it's good enough.
Very good. Well, and certainly someone who knows about really good food, being in Boston, Massachusetts, is the director of the podcast series, Jana Shoda Meyer. So, happy day, Jana.
Happy day. Thank you for having us.
All right. And so this is a perfect, combination, a coming together of so many different concepts, ladies. Like if you love the creative arts, if you love podcasting, and if you love CHamoru culture, and Jana, you're originally from Saipan, this is such a wonderful idea. So maybe to start out with, and feel free to jump in as you see fit, ladies, but how did you come up with this concept and then covering, CHamoru legends in this format?
Yeah, so Breaking Wave, we've been around for a few years, and one of our biggest passion is like original works, and also doing stuff that combines culture and the arts. And so we've thought a lot about how we wanted to do the Legends of Guam. And after the pandemic hit, we did a lot of virtual work, and so when we were thinking about how we could continue to do virtual work and involve people who are on Guam and part of the diaspora, we got the idea to try podcast plays. And so we figured, we've been wanting to do a Legends of Guahan thing for a while. And so we kind of put both together. And so it's been a really exciting process to be working with people all over the world. People who are living on Guam and people like Jana who are not currently living in the Marianas.
But you can celebrate your culture, definitely. And I think, this is, Jana, this is kind of what they say about like peanut butter cups, right? How did these two formats not come together like ever since? I mean, it makes perfect sense.
Oh yeah, I agree. I also think the format of a podcast play makes these stories so much more accessible. Thinking like other Chamorros like me who are out in the diaspora, this really allows us to engage with them and kind of build the bridge between people living on the island and people out in the diaspora.
Now, I absolutely agree with you, Jana, about like accessibility. And, like I'm a big internet guy as far as, distributing the podcast and the legends in this format. I mean, it's wonderful. You can reach so many people, and the fact that they can enjoy it, while they're cooking, while they're working out, while they're studying, whatever. However, as a director, can you talk a little bit about maybe some of the challenges that are presented to you? Normally working in traditional theater formats, with like an audience out there breaking the fourth wall, and now basically working in an audio only medium.
Yeah, great question. It was a huge challenge. This was my first time working in the podcast medium, so I feel like I learned a lot throughout the process. I also want to shout out the other directors, Joyce and Sierra, who also directed on this project. We each shared the load, and I directed episode 3. But it was definitely some of the challenges were working over Zoom with actors versus being in the room with them, finding ways to emote only through the voice, since that's the only medium that we have. But it was really great because we got to work with actors who, again, were in Guam and some who are out in the States. And I'm really grateful that I got to work on a project while I'm out here in Boston, but still working with Chamorro and Guam artists.
Did maybe CJ, you can address this. Did the actors, what was their feedback as far as saying, it's only my voice, and like if I was a traditional stage actor, I can maybe play off the crowd, or I have the set behind me and my fellow performers, and now you've literally got only your voice to basically carry the story through?
Yeah, I think they had a lot of fun. What was really great about this is we had a mix of actors who have done this for a while and have done stage, and we've also had actors who have never done anything like it, and we also had actors who have solely only done voice work. And so I think everyone took a little bit from the experience. I know like our actors from Breaking Wave who have only done theater, it was a new and exciting way for them to hone their skills and really go into this new medium. And then for our newer actors, it was great for them because they, maybe they're not ready for the stage yet, but this was the perfect first dip into that. And we had actors as young as 5 years old, and we had a couple of 7-year-olds and 9-year-olds making their first, approach into the acting world through this. So I know it was a really cool experience for them.
Very cool. Okay, can we talk about the lineup of exactly the CHamoru Legends ladies? Because we've got so many to pick from. Everybody assumes that you guys are going to, okay, we're going to do the Legend of the Two Lovers. We're going to do Sirena. We're going to do, how the cow and the carabao both jumped into the lake, and when they came out, they were wearing each other's skin, and that's why the carabao has looser skin. But you guys have actually picked a combination of tried and true cultural classics as well as more modern contemporary themes, right?
Yeah. So for the lineup, the first 2 episodes are already out. Episode 1 touches on Punten and Putna, the CHamoru origin story. Episode 2 touches on the legend around the coconut tree. It's called Ichonko Nitsuk. And the episode I directed is about the breadfruit tree, which is coming out this Friday. So those are the first ones that we have coming out. And then after that, we have episode 3, which is Chaiki's Lost Soul. And then episode 5, the group of badass mermaids and their maiden buddy that saved the whole ass island, as told by your Auntie Bobby, which is an adaptation on the young maidens who saved Guam and the fish who took a bite out of Guam. So these are all origin stories, but definitely told through a contemporary lens because they're adaptations by contemporary CHamoru writers. So I think it's really cool because we're bringing these origin stories, these older legends into somewhat of a contemporary context. And what I think is really cool about that is that culture is live and living. And so these stories are alive and living with us and meeting the audiences today.
Okay, once again, because I absolutely love the title, right? And I've been waiting my entire career to read this, right? A group of badass mermaids and their maiden buddy that saved a whole ass island, as told by your Auntie Bobby. I don't know about you, but for my money, I'd take that title over, the fish that took a bite out of Isagani Bay. Marketing is everything to me. And maybe that's the point, because now how do people find, these podcasts and in actually getting it out there? Because you put a podcast out there, you put your best efforts into producing it and making sure that's the best it can absolutely be. You're literally a needle in a haystack. So where can people find this and how can people enjoy it?
Yeah, so you can, if you head over to bwtcguam.com, we have a link to where you can find it. We have it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other major podcast distributors. And if you don't have access to those, you can actually just go to the link and you could even just play it off of your web browser. So you don't need a subscription or anything. Just head on to bwtcguam.com, listen to the podcast, and it leads you to where you could just listen to it. So a lot of different ways, and we're just so excited for everyone to hear.
Very cool. And you know what, boys and girls, I mean, you could just listen like one time shot and everything like that. Why don't you give them a subscribe? Because, and they're producing really, really good, high quality work and everything. And they put their hearts and souls into this, and it's good stuff. So you want to make sure to check it out. And on that note, Gina, I'd like to ask you, as far as cultural accuracy and, staying true to these stories as we're handed down, from our grandmothers to us, and that someday we will hand down to, to our descendants. How much creative liberty did you have, and maybe how much did you apply as far as, telling them in the traditional way, but then, adding obviously like with, a new modern twist?
Sure. I feel like there was, during the creation process, there was a lot of check-in between the producers and the writers and the directors, and the writers really had, I feel like, a good amount of creative freedom, but they also wanted to honor the legends and the stories that they're telling. So even though they're told from, somewhat of a contemporary lens, I feel like we are trying to honor the stories that have been passed down from generations before. So I still feel like they are true. They feel relevant today. There's a lot of collaboration, and there was some creative freedom in the writing process in a way that I think benefits the story.
For sure. Now, CJ, obviously these are going to pass, the young people test, right? Because you say podcasts and kids are like, okay, sign me up, I'm good to go. But have your podcasts, at least thus far, have they passed the Manamko test, right? Have you actually kind of like shared them in this approach with maybe some of our older generation, and have they like given you some feedback and signed off on that?
That is honestly something we still need to do. I'm hoping when I'm back on Guam, I'm gonna hit up all the Manamkus and we'll try to do some listening parties together and see, because it's definitely something that we created with all ages in mind. I mean, some of them are more leaning towards adult appropriate, like the last 2 episodes, and then some of them are more family friendly. And so it's definitely something we want to get feedback from all ages, and our DMs and our emails are open for that, because that's what's a little different with podcasts. We don't get to like see the audience right after and be like, what did you think? So we're really looking forward to hearing that kind of feedback from folks.
Absolutely. Well, you've got friends here at KUN, ladies, and you can count us. You can count on us, because we are all in as far as making sure that the word gets out about this, because you guys are doing really, really good work, and we want to make sure that you guys actually get the stamp of approval from Kat Maria and Auntie Mary. All right, well, we have to go right now, everybody. That is going to do it. And please make sure to subscribe to the podcast. And when we return, we will tell you more about this weekend's
floating ceremony when Hotspot continues.